to this edition of Caribbean House Talk. On Caribbean House Talk, we always bring you the issues that are funny, that are curious, and even tearfully serious. On today's Caribbean House Talk, we have quite a show lined up for you, and we're going to start off as usual with our spicy dish segment. Now, on spicy dish, I have to say that sometimes we don't know if things that are on there might be a little bit too, risky, too sexy for young children. So if you have small children in the room, you may ask them to leave. There's sometimes the spicy dish really doesn't have anything that children can't look at, but I'm not sure at this point, as I'm sitting here, what's going to be in there, because we have a number of things, and I just want to be careful and say, have the children leave the room if you have small children. So, we have 3 people on the stage today because Mrs. Harrison had another engagement that kind of conflict, so she was not able to be on this episode with us. So we're going to roll all the 3 bodies on the stage here. We're going to roll. So you ready to roll, ladies?
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to start off as usual with our spicy dish. And
first pick. Okay. All right. Here we go.
12.
Woo. And all right. Let's see. Something juicy?
I don't know.
Not quite that way.
Okay.
Should we force our kids to get an education or push for a skill?
I say you say it's one or the other. Our children are not meant to go to college.
I agree with
But
you.
I would say if you said to me, Ma, I don't want to go to college, what is it that you plan to do to make a living for yourself? Do you want to fix cars? Do you want to learn how to build houses? Do you want to make shoes? Whatever. But tell me something that, because you're not going to be a bum living in my house. So for my mother, it has always been, even though most of her children are formally educated, it's a skill or an education. She never told us that we had to have both, or we had to have an education. Some people, they have a kid who could be able to bring home C's, and the kid say, I want to learn to, do hair, or I want to learn to fix cars, or what have you. And they're pushing the kid to go to college and get a master's. It's ridiculous. And I honestly think, and you guys could weigh in when I'm done, I honestly think that a lot of black people's problems started when they took on that mindset. Thinking that everybody have to have an education. What does an education prepare you for? Don't get me wrong, young people. I say, even if you want to do a business, get some kind of skill, some kind of,
You have to educate yourself about the business.
Oh, the business, right, exactly. So I say that, but my thing is, if you go to Nigeria, the Nigerians are very much like us in the Caribbean. We all have to get our master's degree and our PhDs and our what have you. You go to Ghana, they're more into education. Okay? They're more into into businesses. They're very business minded. And so my thing is, in St. Vincent, for instance, I know you would agree with that. Okay? We're around the same age. And in St. Vincent, no matter what your skill, your intellect was, your intellectual capacity was, your parents would have you go on to sew pants with Mr. Such and such. A girl goes on to make dresses with such and such. Learn to do ice cake. Learn to do this. So you always had a skill. So when we came to these parts, and sometimes we didn't come here with a green card, we don't have the credentials aren't going to do us, the academics aren't going to do us any good. We're able to go learn to go get a job with somebody who's fixing houses, who's fixing cars. So I think we need to get back to that, where you don't push your children into a one mold fit all type of thing, but rather say, if you're going to be under my roof, it's an education or it's a skill. If they don't want to go to college, don't push them, but find out what it is that you want to do. Because being a bum is not an option. So you'll not be in my house and don't have a career or a skill of some sort.
Well, you know what? The thing is that a lot of these skills, there are going to be huge shortages because of the fact that people are not training for these type of jobs. Things like plumbing and, any of those kind, carpentry. Those jobs are going to be the hot jobs in the future because people need to start training and utilizing those skills. And I totally agree. I don't think everybody is meant for college. If you have a high school student who's struggling to barely make it out of high school, why would you even suggest pushing that person to college? But yes, you do want them to work. So there has to be more programs that will allow kids to get training in a skill. Vocational training, so that they will be able to earn a decent living.
Right. I mean, you look at what some electricians and some plumbers are making.
Money,
you're going to learn front of $150,000 debt, which you will never see
yeah.
you finish paying off. This guy go to a trade school, and they're making more money than doctors and lawyers.
That's right.
So stop forcing your kids that everybody have to be an
I
education.
thought about doing that for when I retire, do something like that and make good money. So yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Oh my God! I mean, wow. What is your?
I agree with both of you guys about that, but you have to let the children choose what they want to, and whatever they choose, you just support them in that way. Because I have two boys. One went to college. One said he didn't want to go, but at the same time, he learned the skill of fixing phones and fixing stuff and
Gadgets,
testing
yeah.
stuff, and so he's actually in the spot right now where he is in a better position than his brother who went to college, but he hasn't graduated yet, but he's about to graduate soon, and he's really making the money. He's working, he's doing it. It's happening for him. So it all depends, because when you do
education,
when you do what you want to do, you will do it well.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
it's like that.
Totally agree.
Wow. Okay, that is absolutely.
So now
My
it's
feeling
my
on that.
turn.
Next
Okay,
spicy
next
chapter.
next question, next topic. Would you ever consider artificial insemination or suggest it to a loved one?
So in other words, you ladies already have your children, you're married. You didn't need to have artificial insemination. I, when my son, had insemination, not artificial, meaning I used his father's sperm, my husband's sperm. I didn't use somebody's sperm out there. The problem was my age and some of the complications I had. We needed a little help to get those two things together, the sperm and the egg. But some people, there might be the male's issue where his sperm he's not producing sperm, or it's not healthy, or what have you, and you might have to go to artificial insemination. Would you recommend it to a friend? Now, if you are in a situation where you are having difficulty, you and your husband or your boyfriend conceiving, do you think that artificial insemination is a difference? Artificial, you don't know whose sperm you're using.
Yeah, explain.
So insemination is just, it could be you're using the sperm of someone you know, or your husband or a boyfriend. It's a known entity. You know what you're bringing together. Artificial insemination is not somebody you know. You might just have some specifics, like I need for them to be white or black or tall or blue eyes, and they have that sperm, they match it up with you. A lot of people in the gay and lesbian community, when they want to start families, they go the artificial route. Sometimes they may have a friend who might do the honors for them, but they go that route. So what do you think about recommending that or trying that yourself?
I wouldn't.
Artificial.
I wouldn't.
Insemination.
Either or. No. If I'm to get pregnant, I'll get pregnant. I am not going to. I don't believe in doing that kind of stuff, because honestly, not everybody was meant to have kids. If it's going that way, let it go. Adopt somebody. Adopt a child. Help somebody who need help with their children. At least you know that person, and you know that you're doing a good in such a way, and that child would end up really being your child to that extent that.
Listen, I adopted a child. That child wasn't my child.
Well,
He
maybe
was a child.
Keep trying.
She was a child that I helped, and turned out to be very. Well, I'm not going to get into it, but
I don't understand,
that was
but-
not my child. Okay,
That's
because
not
and not that I
It
didn't
work out.
want it to. It could have been that way, but it did not work out that way. And I've seen a lot of cases
could
where
have gone the
that
other
doesn't
way.
work out well. With me, I don't know that I would do artificial insemination, where I'm using somebody's sperm that I don't know. But I think if I had to pick between that and adoption, I think I would pick adoption. I think I would. But for some people, it's an option. Like I said, in the gay and lesbian community, that is a viable option for people who they have one component but not the other. And they may be two ladies, but they need to sperm.
Adopt a child. There's a lot of kids. A lot of kids out there need help.
That's very easy to say. I would absolutely suggest that. Artificial insemination. If you truly want a baby, the fact that you think about it means that you want a baby, one that you want to conceive yourself. And I know that sometimes things are not meant to be, but the I don't want to say technology, but the ability to do this artificial insemination is there for a reason.
And I don't think God allow anything to happen that's not meant to happen.
It was there for a reason, and I think if they've tried that route, this is what they want, then go ahead and try that route. Yes, I would suggest it. And then if that doesn't work, then look into adoption. There are so many ways, that you can try to have a child, and so I don't say no to any of that.
I still say
I'm
no.
For it.
I'm not inseminating nothing. No.
Well, I mean that
we know almost black or white.
Yeah,
it's no gray. There's no gray.
That's us, and
You're sitting there with your husband
there
of
are
12
loving
years.
people that want children, and they can't do it in that natural way. Everybody can't do it like that.
Baby.
Should that mean that they shouldn't have children?
No,
and if
I'm
they
not
have,
saying they should have.
no, but I mean, if they have the ability, they have an egg, they have a sperm, or they want to just, you're a single woman and you've been trained to get a man, and
It's a
and
viable
there's
option.
nobody that's out there that's good enough, or no one out there that that
It's
you
walking with.
that you can work with, whatever, and you want a baby,
Mhm.
you want to have your own baby. So
Right.
yes, the same way
No.
that they have things, you have situations now where you have people who are able to have someone carry their child for them.
Mhm.
They want their own child. You
A
wouldn't
lot of
need to
celebrities
say,
with the money,
let's
they have
adopt,
somebody.
but they want their own kid. And I think that God brought these things, He made these things available so that people can try them.
Mhm.
If He didn't want it to happen, it wouldn't have happened.
Listen, like I said, my son is not by artificial insemination. He was created in my womb. It wasn't like, okay, the artificial insemination, they bring these two things together in a petri dish. He wasn't in a petri dish. They basically measured me to see when I was ovulating, and then had to get my husband's sperm. The first time we did it in the office, but they call and say, I think you should come back today and do it again. And I honestly always said, it did not take the first time. I felt when I took the second time. It was just a sensation that went to my body. I said that there was like a spark of light or something. And I said, I think this egg just stayed. But what was happening was, we were having and this is something that is a personal thing to talk about, but we're having I've had children before. He didn't have children. He had a lot of sperm, but they were not necessarily swimming that well to meet the egg. So it was a matter of getting his sperm up to my egg. So that's why I say he wasn't in a petri dish. It was, they just had to put that sperm up there all with the egg. So what they had to do, and I think I spoke about this in another show in the earlier season, where they had to do a couple of things with the sperm. They have to do what they call washing the sperm, where they took out all the sperm that were abnormal. If it had two head, two tail, too big a head, too small a tail, too big a tail, anything that was abnormal, they have some method that remove those abnormal sperm. Then they put a solution that make the sperm aggressive, so that when he encounters that egg, he's going to grab it, right? And I felt something. I was lying in my bed. I just come back from the doctor, and I felt when that spark of light. So the second day when they called me and said to come back, my husband had to go to school, and never the one to miss anything. He said, okay, I'm going to do it at home. He said he was not comfortable doing it in somebody's bathroom. He said, you don't know what they have in there watching me jerk off. You know what I mean? So he had to get it in a thing, and then I had to put it under my armpit.
To keep it warm?
To keep it warm, and rush to the doctor's office. So the first day, we were both there when they inserted it. The second day, I was there by myself. And I look at my son today. Nobody can tell me that wasn't meant to be. And at my age, I was almost 45 when he was born. So this was happening around the time when I was 44, maybe a little after 43, or just before 44. And it was the average person. I still have to stutter when I think of the miracle of this. The average person tries it 3 times before it succeeds, even with regular insemination. It took the first time for me. It took the first time. Now, that's coming from a person whose mother has 14 children, and at 42 had to have her tubes tied because she'd probably end up with more children, right? So I obviously come from a background of a very fertile woman, and my doctor told me that was the best predictor if you're going to be very fertile. If your mother is very fertile, unless you have some other complications going on there.
Okay.
So I definitely would. I know the joy that it brought me. When you have a child by that way, you made that effort to have that child. This isn't like you wake up one morning and have a change of life baby. You think you're going through menopause and whoops, I'm pregnant. This is something you deliberately work at. And I think those options are in place for people. I had a young girl the other day who wanted to adopt, and she was 23, and I said, why are you going to adopt this early?
Keep trying.
Right, you don't know that it wouldn't happen naturally. But if you're at that age where you're getting older, you want to have a child, the right man didn't come along, I think these options are absolutely. But that's just me. I mean, I like that
I'm
we
not doing
differ.
any, I had enough for babies. I don't want any more.
Well, no,
So
but
I would say that. I'm not.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't. It's not something that I
But
would
if you had a
suggest
friend,
anyone. That
okay,
has to
so
be
that's
their
what
choice.
Yeah.
I
No,
wouldn't
if I
even
had a
think
friend
about
who was trying to figure out what her options were, it doesn't mean I could force them to do it.
No,
But I would say
wouldn't
that's an
suggest
option. You
it.
may want to explore it.
I wouldn't suggest.
All right, so I'm going to do the next item on our spicy dish. Why a strong woman so weak in other areas? You ever find a woman, whether it's your boss, tough as nails, but in their personal life, or some area of their life, they're kind of weak?
I think they're hiding. Something is being hidden, so they come out as strong in the public. So you could look at them as a strong person, but behind those, they're breaking down. It's some emotional something going on there that's deep within that they're trying to put a mask over in public, but at home they're humans.
We're all humans. That is true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, I think I usually feel that nobody's that tough. I like to think of myself as a strong woman, but I am not. I would cry at the drop of a hat. You see a movie that touched me, funny, or somebody's going through something, I cry at the drop of a hat. But I'm tough as nails. But I don't consider that a weakness. But I think for some people, they are very insecure, and they mask it by being super, super tough and super in control. And not only nobody is that much in control, but my father taught me one thing. He said the people that always seem in control are the people that are more likely to crack up, meaning go crazy. And that's so true. Some are already a little touch crazy, so I don't have inhibitions. I just speak my mind, and I don't end up
keep it moving.
I end up going out my rackets. So I think a lot of people who if you're just tough as nails, but if you're tough as nails, but then you see you with some man who beating you, some man who treating you this way or that way or the next day. Right. And this topic is going to come up in another issue that we're going to cover in the news of the day. What inspired me to think about that topic. But when you are sitting there in a position of, oh, I'm so strong, I'm the tough boss, I'm the tough this, I could do everything, and it goes from men or women, and then all of a sudden you're a wimp. Like you see the guy who is like this, tough macho man, and then he meets some girl that he's really sprung on, and all of a sudden she just wrapped him around his fingers. I just always think that has some insecurity issues at the back end. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I just say that women are very emotional creatures, and we can get on there and get on a job and do the job just as well as a man can, because we all get the same formal education, and we have the opportunity, hopefully, to express what we feel and how well we can do our jobs. But when it comes to other areas of our life, we're emotional. We just let things take over. It's hard. I mean, I could be one person at work. I come home, and now I got to be the mama, and I got to, be the doctor, and I got to be everything to this kid. And yeah, it does get to be too much. So I think you'll find that a lot. And sometimes when you're tough in one area, you want to come back in, let's say, in your home life and not have to be so tough. You want somebody else to solve the issues and the problems of the day. So you then become, you're not as strong there because you don't want to have to deal with it. We can't be, solid metal all the time. Sometimes we want somebody to take care of us. And in doing so, a lot of times we get kind of used in that way.
misunderstood and used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it shows us a level of weakness on your part, and then the vultures would come in and just take up and that, pick that up and go in, hone in on you, and boom, before you know it, you catch yourself, you're in like so deep in that you're like, how did I get here? But it depends on who you're associating yourself with. That saw that little loophole and try to get in and take advantage of the situation. That happens every day.
Well, that's a normal part of life, but I think
but that's part of it too.
For me, I just feel like nobody's that tough.
No.
So if I see somebody being
There's
super
always
touch and eyes and control, I know to tell everybody else how to, do this, that, the next, and then all of a sudden you see in the areas of their life that I'm like, I prefer to have a balance. Like my kids are my soft spot. My mother is my soft spot. But like I said, I'm not afraid to cry at the drop of a hat if I have to. I'll cry at the drop of a hat if I have to.
A song is my soft spot. If I hear a song that touches me, I cry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cry easily. I'm very
A lot of movies
emotional.
will make me cry.
I'm one of the most emotional person you could find, but then I have a little mouth on me. I can tell you off in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And I have
But that's
that balance.
good. That's a balance, right?
Yeah.
But you got some people who just end of job, they're mean as hell and nasty to everybody, blah blah blah. But then they go home in the evening, there's some little win for some guy. You know, you say to yourself, okay.
Exactly.
But that meanness, on the job probably comes from the fact that they are women at home.
Exactly.
Because somebody can control them at home, so they come to work and they're like, well, at least I can control the situation at work.
Mm-hmm.
So everything kind of reflects back on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I have one little situation where there's this lady who used to be in my life, and she would talk to me as if I was her child.
Mm-hmm.
And at home, she can't even talk to her children. So one day I witnessed that, and I'm like, wait a minute, stop, I'm not your daughter. I've seen how your daughter talked to you. Don't come and talk to me in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. And we never talk after that day.
Mm-hmm.
Never talk.
Guess you called her out.
I did, because I was a little, out of respect, I like go along with the thing. But then when I witnessed what happened, I said, no, this is not, no.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped
Okay.
it. Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go to the Dear Health Team segment of the show.
You are watching CUEXTV, Cultural Experience Television. We will be right back. Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and the ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cowfoot soup, sorrel beer, ginger beer, Slovaki dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 Q Street in Toronto, Canada. You are watching Caribbean House Talk.
Welcome back to Caribbean House Talk. We're back to our Dear Health Team segment of the show. Now, our spicy dish today wasn't really that spicy. They were important topics, but they weren't that spicy. That's why I was saying. Not everything on spicy dish is, you got to get the kids out of the room. But sometimes we don't remember, we don't know what's really coming out, so we just want to be careful. So Dear Health Team is typically things that, it could be educational, it could be something that somebody wrote us and asked us to discuss. It could be something that we saw on TV and said, oh my God, I want to discuss that. And they usually not have a sexy thing. So today's, we have 2 items for Dear Health Team. Would you have your teen daughter do plastic surgery?
No.
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 I'm not even sure.
I mean, that is
would.
no on so many levels.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean,
do you know it does
Their-
happen?
Their face,
does.
their bodies, everything is
It's still growing.
It's still developing. And you know what? I think when we're teenagers, we hate everything about our bodies.
mm,
And then as we get older, we kind of grow into it, and we like things, we accept certain things. So absolutely not.
No
That's
way.
it.
No.
yeah.
No.
That is, I wouldn't encourage that from anybody, but I do know adult people do it. But teenagers, like you said, they're still growing. And that's if you're a teenager trying to get, if you're a teenager who is trying to get on your, get a plastic surgery at that age, I should say. What is that saying about how self-hatred? Insecurity.
But self-esteem is low if you want to do that. And the parents will do it. There's some mothers who actually have their children.
Can't say no to their children.
Yep. So
I tell my children, I know one was very busty at a young age, very busty. And she hated it because she hated the stares from men and men commenting to her and whatnot. And I always said, God created you that way. That is how you're supposed to be. The things that you don't like about yourself now, when you'll get older, you're going to love it. You'll learn how to use what you got. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And you want to try to, make your teenager feel, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you are great the way you are. And guess what? Any team, you want some surgery done, you do it when you get older and you have money. I'm not paying for that. I just don't believe in that.
That's true.
They go through so many changes. They'll look one way, their body will be shaped one way, and then a couple of years later, the body changes a little bit. No.
I'm not having that. Absolutely, I'm not having that. But it happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
It's part of the trend
I saw it was I think Yana Van Zandt, with that show on OWN network, and she was interviewing this young African American girl, and she had basically like totally fake up her whole self, and the guy still didn't want her. And I remember Yana said to him, when she was doing all this crazy changes and stuff, you knew you didn't have somebody who was playing with a full deck there. Why did you continue to engage her? And she had a baby for him, that wasn't enough. She was fixing this, she was fixing that. I mean, she was just totally messing up herself, and it wasn't enough.
And my thing, okay, so you're talking now about somebody who's a little bit older. We're not talking 13, what you just mentioned, because if she had a baby and all that, I'm assuming that she was a little bit older.
She was very young, but not teenager. She was like young adult.
Right, so my thing is, if somebody's going to like you, they're going to like you for who you are and not so much what you look like. And if you're with somebody, and I don't care whether you're young or old, if you're with somebody, you're with a man, and later on he asks you to change everything about yourself, you need to get rid of him, because it was something about him, something about you that attracted that man when you met him.
Right.
So what happened that all of a sudden now you need to change everything? So my thing is, anybody asks you to change yourself, you need to get rid of them.
That's true.
And you need to
This guy though, he wasn't
yourself.
asking this girl. She was just that insecure. He was a celebrity, and she was just that insecure. And the more that he didn't show her the affection she wanted, the more she thought if she changed this, it's gonna help. Change that, and it wasn't gonna help. But you're right. When you get to the point where you want to change yourself like that to please someone, you gotta figure something in right. Yeah.
No, you need to.
Did she really do it for him or doing it for herself?
Yeah, she did. She was clearly not in a good place. And I don't always agree with everything Yana says, but I think that one I was like, she was right on the money. And she's usually right about most things. Maybe her method, but that's how she get their attention, And she was like, you didn't think something was wrong when she was doing all this stuff to herself?
But the thing too is, many times when people change one thing because I'm unhappy with my lips, do you know what happens? They change their lips and then they find something else that they're unhappy with to change. So it just like doesn't stop. So no. It's when I take Irmistan now. No.
No.
All right.
Areas.
Another issue on their help team. How would you handle bullying from your young adult kids? Because you see a lot of bullying, not just from kids to kids, but kids bullying parents. And I'm always shocked when I see this in a two-parent household. Especially, forgive me white folks, especially you see these white households with mother and father there, and this kid is running them around the track with their bullying. And you're like, how do you have a two-parent household with that in it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times with mothers, they'll put certain things with mothers because we tend to, when we say no, we still doing it in a way that leaves some things open. But with a father, they usually put some bass in their voice, and that kid, all he has to do is to look at them, but you see, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's kind of funny because I was talking to my daughter. I actually, both of them individually, about that, you know, stuff kind of like that. I'm only 4'11", but never have my kids ever got in line with me. You know, my daughter, she kept saying, "Mom, you used to beat me." She made it sound like I really like brutalized her, and everybody is over me, you know. But there is no way that I would let my child disrespect me or bully me. You know, as moms, we go through a lot, and that's what I would always tell them. I went through a lot to have you, to give you the life that you have, you know, along with your father, but we talking about me. I went through a lot. My body went through a lot. Everything I do, you know, the stress of life and work. So there's no way that I'm going to have my kid try to bully me or disrespect me. Okay? And I have gotten out there, when my kids have gotten out of line, they know when they were younger and teenagers got out of line, I was like ready. Yo, I was ready to fight.
Right.
And they will tell you, my mom she act like she's in the street ready to fight somebody, because you will not ever, no kid is going to disrespect me.
I know for me, I totally agree with you on that one. What I found with kids is that they will push you as far as you let them.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think anybody who's raised a child, especially daughters, you have that, you know? And so with me and my daughter, we had to go through that phase, you know? I mean, I remember getting married and she was not having it, you know? And I said, well, you don't have to have it, it's not you. And she was rebelling, and this was my first child. I really hadn't experienced raising another child. I helped with my brothers and sisters, it wasn't the same. And I remember being so stressed out, and this kid was getting so disrespectful. And a very good friend of mine said to me, you know she's being a bully the way she saw her father bullied you, right? And that was like a light bulb. But I think you know who that friend was that told me that. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head. That is true. This kid is trying to be a bully here. And when I put my foot down, it's funny. When you put your foot down, how much they have to spring back to themselves. You know? And I remember saying to myself, Chick, you need me a hell of a lot more than I need you.
Darn right. Let them know.
You know whose house you living in? My house. You know who pays this mortgage? Me do. No, I do. Me do. Okay, let me talk a little bit essential. Me do. I'm you do. Me will pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
But no, for real though. But I you need me a lot more than I need you. Maybe when I get old.
She's still a child though. She's still a child.
She was just her teenage, 15, 16 years old.
Still in your home.
That's like the natural teen thing, but bullying a parent gets on a whole nother level,
totally
you know, than that teen rebellion.
taunting.
And it is what you allow as a parent. It's how you raise your children and what you allow, okay, to get to that point of bullying. You know, and parents who don't know how to say no, that's another problem there too. When you don't say no to your kid and they feel like they're entitled to everything and they want it and they want it now and you're used to giving it to them now, and when you don't, that's when it gets into another level.
Right.
Go ahead, Irma. I'm sorry.
It's not even sometimes giving them anything, but it's the attitude and the lifestyle that they want to carry on while in your home. And if you said no, don't do this here or don't do that here, they come in, they might not do it, but they will come in such a way to you that it's totally taunting you. Like the only thing left for you to do now is to cuff them down, you know. But they're not raising their hand at you. They're silently taunting you.
Oh no. Well, the raising hand at me. The raising hand at me. That wouldn't happen.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But the things that they're doing and the way they're doing it, it's like, okay, say something, or you know, taunt. It's a taunting thing. That's why some time ago there was this guy I read about and heard about in the news out in Long Island. His grandson came into the house, you know, taunting him, and he had to actually shoot the child.
No, that's a whole
Yeah,
thing. What-
to get that happened.
But
Way
what we
back
have to
when.
shoot a child to get him out of control? That tells me that you don't fail in the way you discipline the
child
child.
come in the house drunk and cursing and want to fight, and they
But
just couldn't take
what child are you talking?
anymore.
What size are you
A
talking?
young man.
Oh, young man.
Not a
Okay.
child, but
Okay.
a young man, a grandson of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to give him a bullet in the butt.
But
Calm him
Marvin
down.
Gaye, his father, remember what happened there? His father shot him, and this
Yeah.
guy wasn't a criminal. He felt he was being bullied.
Yeah.
And
So, children, they, as you said, they go as far as you let them go. But with my kids, then the first thing they will tell their friends about me is that my mom is crazy. That's the first thing. So they come
They all say
again now, expecting some craziness. But don't cross me like that. And they know that. They'll get away with a lot of little things with my husband before they can get away with me, because he more of the lenient father, and he would take a little more than I would take. But my kids, they're teenagers in their own way, but they're two different children, and that's besides the point we're talking here now, so I don't want to stray off the point. But the bullying part, I've seen it, I've heard it, and I know it's happening out there. And a lot of people, parents, get bullied in their home.
sometimes they don't even know they're being bullied.
Exactly. Some know and some don't know.
But it's starting from young.
It's starting
It
from
doesn't
young.
all of a sudden your
They
kid
let
is
too much
now
happen.
14 and they're bullying you. It's the way that they were raised from young.
Little.
You know, I mean, I'm just going to mention it, but it's a whole nother topic. But
Yeah.
you'll constantly hear in the news on those reality talk shows where a parent will come
That's
in.
what it was.
My 4-year-old, they're just out of control. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, you don't know what to do.
I hate being a parent.
No,
You know?
no.
And my thing is, are
We're in
you
America.
kidding me? Are you kidding me? And that's where it starts. If you can't discipline a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, imagine when they become 13 and 14. Yes, they will overrun you and they will bully you, and then they'll want to fight you.
You know something? I have 2 children. I'm not a beater. I'm not one that spank. Okay, much. But my daughter, I did spank her little hand a couple of times. You know, if you listen to her, you think I used to kill her. And I remember feeling so guilty that I would buy her a toy because I felt bad. Oh my
no.
God, that was so pathetic.
Yeah.
Do you understand why she was a brat?
Yeah.
But
Oh, I bust that. I'll never feel guilty. I ain't never felt guilty about it. I wish.
so my son has never been spanked by me.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't mean I don't discipline.
Yeah.
Oh, I know how to get him.
You have to.
I know how to get him. I don't have to hit him. I don't have to give that kid a look or just cut out a privilege.
Well, my son used to say, "Mom, it's better you beat me. Beat me and get it over with." I said, we're not beating today.
Sometimes the beating is too easy.
Yeah, because
You know?
the thing and the done and the
You
gone
get 'em
again.
both.
So I'm saying to parents, it's not about the beat that you have to beat the kid,
No,
but-
it's
but you have to discipline.
Discipline.
You have to discipline. And you have a 4-year-old that out of control.
No, that's not
Come
happening.
on. Come on.
It's like, how could a 4-year-old overrun a grown behind parent, mom, dad? I don't even
They
want
do.
to hear that. I
They
can't
do.
even conceive of that.
They do. They do. I've seen it happen so many times. Oh Lord. One time I was picking up my son and this lady picking up her kids with my, we were all in the schoolyard, and this other lady walked in to get her son, and she's like, "Oh, there she is. Go and kick her." What? I'm like, Jesus, have mercy on me today. And I just take my son by the hand and walk away. And she's like, "What's wrong with her?" Yeah, what's wrong with her? Telling the little child, go kick the lady.
That's a mentally ill person, I'm
No.
thinking.
Oh,
Who
there
normal
she is.
parents
Go
tell
kick-
somebody,
go Kick her, kick her.
Oh my God.
You kidding me?
And then when he ends up in jail because he go hit somebody or hurt somebody,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna be complaining. Oh my God.
No, I've never seen anything related.
All right. So we are going to go straight from here into the holistic health section of our show. And today we're going to cover the benefits of basil. It's a herb that most Caribbean people especially have in their, not just Caribbean, but we use it a lot
People have
in their cupboards. I mean, I have some right now. I don't use it, but I gotta go use it after this show. So benefits, I have 10 here. It's an anti-inflammatory, It is believed. Now, let me before I start this, let me say this. I have to give this disclaimer because I don't want when we do these segments that people are going around using this and not going to their doctor or stopping their medications and not going to your doctor. Don't be foolish. You know what I mean? I use a lot of this stuff because I'm not on many medication. I'm on one medication for my, they say I'm borderline hypertensive. So I use one medication. It's a kind of water pill type of thing. But I have a family history of high blood pressure, diabetes, all of that stuff. So I started using a lot of these things so that I don't get to that place. That's my way of looking at it. Not, oh, I'm not going to take one medication my doctor gave me. If you feel that you want to try something holistic, discuss with your doctor. Okay? Be real responsible. Don't, because you know what? I'd rather pop a pill than go have a stroke or a heart attack. Don't be foolish, okay? But these things are little things that if you're a healthy person in good health and you just want to try some things that it can't hurt you, at least, and it could give you some benefits, these are some of the things that we suggest, right? We suggest some things, but again, it's always up to you to go to your doctor and make sure they know what you're thinking of doing and if it's okay. All right, so benefits of basil. It's an anti-inflammatory, and I'm amazed how many things we discussed this season
I
that
know.
were anti-inflammatory.
I was just thinking that same thing.
It is believed to help fight breast cancer. It is believed to prevent or fight heart disease. It is believed to fight diabetes and lower triglycerides and cholesterol. Fight bacterial infections. It eases arthritis pain. Protects the liver. Improves digestion. And help fight stress. I mean, I would never think a little herb had all those potential.
Okay, but so my thing is, all right, when we talk about basil, we usually use it as a seasoning. Is there some other way that
You make a tea.
do it?
You can make a tea. You can
Like
put
when
it
I
in
do
a
my
salad.
tea. No, you know I was putting things in my little noonie, my little moringa. I drink noonie too, but I'm out of it right now. I get it from Belize and I don't have any right now. But you know me, I'm trying to get some trees in St. Vincent. You just get the juice, 100% juice from Belize. A friend of mine has a distillery where he creates that and different wines and things like that. So I may have a little bit in the refrigerator, but my moringa, you know that basil is going in that moringa tea now. Because what I put in my moringa, I put guava leaf tea, I put cinnamon, I put ginger, I put a little bit of turmeric. I brought back the actual turmeric root and I was putting that. I put some rosemary, so now basil is going to get added. Who would have thought?
So I guess you can add it to any tea, especially like a green tea or something like that.
You can
Yeah,
put it
green
in
tea.
salad
Yeah,
too.
that's another thing I drink too is green tea. I'm all about my herbal stuff, but again, I still pop that triamterene, you know, and I'm not going to be responsible to tell you that because we list these things on here. Oh, don't take your medication. Don't be foolish.
No, you have to take your medication.
Take your medication there,
Yeah.
and don't do anything without to check with your doctor. Because let me tell you something. Even a lot of these herbal things, as good as they may be, they could interact with stuff. So you don't want to be just going off and doing stuff, okay? You're not on a lot of medication like me and you want to try some of this stuff, you're an otherwise healthy person, fine. Still talk with your doctor, so that I'm thinking, you know, he might say no, he might say, it can't hurt, whatever, but have that discussion. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to go right into the news of the day section of our show.
Oh,
We'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
You are watching CUEXTV, Cultural Experience Television. We will be right back. Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and the ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cold soup, sorrel beer, ginger beer, Slovakia dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 King Street in Toronto, Canada. You are watching Caribbean House Talk.
All right, so welcome back to Caribbean House Talk, and we're about to go into our news of the day section of the show.
What's hot?
What's hot? Wendy Williams.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
yeah.
Okay, that's
What
hot.
happened? I haven't been
Oh.
up to date on it.
Well, you know, she took that break and she was gone for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then she finally came back and she was saying it was something with her thyroid, Graves' disease, and
Right.
and then later on we heard that she had an addiction and she was in a sober house. And I kept saying to my daughter, I said, I'm losing respect for her because it's a woman who stands as a tough woman, and this comes back to what we're talking about, where some women could be so tough
Right.
and so strong, but then they're wimping out in another way. This is a woman who gives people advice daily on her show, and who comes across tough as nails.
Mm-hmm.
And she is melting down because of a good-for-nothing man who done her dirty. And then she came back saying, oh, she was in the sober house, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And then finally it came out. Not only he has a mistress that he's been with for 10 years or some craziness.
Oh, that long?
Yeah, but they just had a baby. Him and the mistress. Ooh.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's a lot.
That's a spicy dish right there.
Ooh.
That is a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot. That is way too
And
much.
at one point, what I was saying, if you know you got all this stuff about to come out, why are you on TV with your finger up, ring finger up? Oh, I know there are rumors, but you know what? All marriages have their ebb and flows, but you know, I'm still married, and as long as you see this on my finger, we're still married, and it ain't going anywhere, not in this lifetime.
But did she know about the mistress though?
Oh, come on.
Come on, this
But why
ain't the
would you go
first.
out
What's wrong
there?
with this?
Why
For
would you go
years
out
they've
there
been
showing ring and carrying on if you know there is someone in the background? Why would you do that?
I don't know, and
That's
especially
right. I
someone
wouldn't do
like
that,
her
no.
who talks about everybody. See, you know, you get more respect when you're just honest. Just be
Yeah,
honest.
right.
Don't try to fake it, because with everyone else, you kind of demand honesty and you put their business out there.
Mm-hmm.
So just be honest, and then people will have that sympathy for you.
Right.
You know, instead of all this fake stuff. Oh, well, you know, my Graves' disease this, and now you hear something else, and then something else. Girl,
So it
I
really
just lay it
wasn't-
out there on the line. But see, the difference too is when you think that what you got is the greatest thing ever, and there can never be any problem. See, I've been married now. How long is it? Man, it's a freaking long time.
Yeah.
I can't even think. But I've been married about almost 32 years. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And while I say that I have a good man, I think I do have a good man.
Mhm.
But you know what? I would not put anything past them. You know, because men are men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
And
So
the
I'm
right
not gonna go
temptation-
over there and say, my husband would never ever do.
Mm-mm.
I will tell you, out of anybody, he would be the least likely that
Right.
I would think that would
Right.
do something. But if he did, it ain't gonna shock me, because this is what goes on with men.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think your don't stink, excuse my
mhm.
language, I don't usually curse. When you think, you know, like you got the greatest of everything and your stuff doesn't stink, and you go on like, we're the best and he's so great, look at how wonderful he's this and that, that's usually when you get slapped in the face.
And telling everybody about their business. That she has an advice section. And when she came back, and I could tell, we didn't hear about the baby yet, but I could tell that something was going on. And I was like, there's more to this. There's more to this. And when she did the advice section, she wasn't the same Wendy.
No, because
Because she realized, right.
Oh, demure.
And she
man
realized
broke
something
her
is.
down.
She realized she
Right.
knows the truth. We don't know, but she knows
You
the
didn't
truth.
know the truth. Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, what is going on with this girl?
Mhm.
And then
But you know what? Her strength will come out more if she, you know, when you let it out. You know how if
But
you got
that's what I
something
think.
pressing on you,
I think
and,
no.
and that's when you become meek and weak and all. But as soon as you release it, you feel so good.
Right.
You know.
And I
That's
think by her coming out now,
Mhm.
that I think she's gonna gain back a lot of respect of people who were starting. Because I said to my
Absolutely.
daughter, I said she's gonna lose that
Is
show.
she coming back though?
She's back.
She's back.
She's back, and she's filed for divorce.
She did.
And when she did that, I was like,
Yeah.
yes, girl.
When did all this happen? Well, I mean, I
This
haven't
last
been,
week.
I've
She
been
filed
gone
for divorce.
I
couple
don't watch
days
it
well,
either,
so-
but I did hear something on the news
She filed
last
for
week
divorce.
that she filed for divorce.
Good for her. Good for her. Take your power back.
So wait a minute. The last thing I heard about that is that the husband said that she's in control of his finances and he can't do anything. But at the same time, he bought a house for this lady, right? But then there's something that's adding up to me. For me, something is not adding up, and I think she did the best that she can do for herself, is to pull herself out of that situation, cut these people off, and keep it moving. Because she's good by herself.
Listen, there's nobody. Look, my sister Wendy, if you listen to me, there's nobody like Wendy. Nobody can do that show like
nobody
you.
can
There
do
was
what
a
she
ton of
does.
guest hosts on there. They're wonderful people. Sherry Shepherd, I feel, need to have her own show, but there's no Wendy but Wendy.
Yeah.
And, you know, fans out there, including this one here, I love you and I respect you. And you know what? I'm so glad that you shake that monkey off your back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy. She's been with that man 20-something years. But you know what? You're not the cause that would happen. That happened to her, not the worst. And no good will come at him for what he did to you. And no good will come at that woman that did that to another woman. No good will come to her.
It never turned out good.
It never turned out good.
For some women, the thrill is there when they're cheating with another man's wife. But when that wife leave that man, she don't want him. It's
Right.
it's
And
a
she's a
burden
much
now.
younger woman than
And
him.
No, she's gone. She
And
will
you
take
know
what she
what?
can get, and she will
Let
be out.
that young chickie get all the problems now.
Leave them
Because
alone.
believe me, with him comes problems. So let them have problems. It was good because he didn't, you know, he can go there, he can
And
lay
then go
there, and life there is all fine and
Right.
nice and dandy. Because the troubles of being a wife or being a, you know, a mate and going through everyday life wasn't the girl's trouble. And even with
Exactly.
him, he can imagine, he lived the fantasy because over there everything's perfect. But when you come home, guess what? Home is a reality check. Home, we got bills to pay. We got things to do.
We have a
You know,
kid
we
to
got
raise.
problems, issues. We got to get past this. You know, we have a son to raise. So home always is more stressful than when you're going over to some
The girlfriends.
girlfriend or boyfriend's house where everything is just a life of luxury and you
course.
don't have to deal with problems.
Get away,
So I
get
say,
away.
Wendy Williams, more power to you,
More
sister.
power to you, girl.
Get your power back and do your thing. That's all.
You know, just like she did you dirty. He did you dirty
back.
with that girl, that young girl, when that little thing can't stand up no more. She gonna do the same damn thing to him. Don't worry.
it's not
Goes
even-
around, comes around.
It's not even that long. The thing could still stand up, but she gonna keep moving. Because guess what? She break up something, somebody gonna break up something.
And then hope that she has a
Yeah.
way
The
to cut
same
his
way you
money.
get them is the
Because she
same
can
way
cut
you
the
get
money.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's,
Oh,
it's really
God.
sad.
It
But I
is
was
very
so
sad.
happy when I heard that she filed for divorce. I'm like, yes. Yes.
That's the right
She's
thing to
taking
do.
her power back.
Leave the man alone.
Take her power back.
Leave the man alone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Oh,
Anyways, it is what it is.
it is what it is. But we've come to the end of edition, or this edition I should say, of Caribbean House Talk. And we hope to see you on our next edition of Caribbean House Talk. Bye-bye.
Bye.